Fitzy and Whipper.
Jesus, good having this man back into the studio, isn't it? It really is. You can see him on Dancing with the Stars at the moment, Sundays on Channel 7, but also he's got a brand new podcast that we need to speak to him about. It's Grant Denton!
Hey!
God, I love you guys.
God, can we go first things first?
Yeah,
You're a
what's
man
up?
of the land. Everything okay at home?
Yeah, we got. I live on a farm in Bathurst, which
Yep.
is the other side of the Blue Mountains. We've had no rain yet,
At all?
at all.
Isn't that weird?
So because that's what happens with this big mountain range here. It acts like a giant curtain. So
Yeah.
anything that sort of comes from the east doesn't make it over, and often everything that comes from the west won't make it to Sydney. So we've had none.
Yeah, so at times you're sitting there going, guys, draw back the curtain, bring it in.
Yeah,
We can do with a bit of that.
Particularly when you got cows, and we got some of these beautiful Scottish Highland cows. You know those ones with the huge
them.
horns
And
and the long red
fringe.
hair.
The hairy coos.
The hairy coos.
Hairy coos.
So we love it to rain.
Hey, how many head you running there, mate?
Oh, mate, I got I got
How many head you running?
22 at the moment. I'm pretty much a cattle baron.
Really, you drive
Yellowstone.
a John Deere or what sort of machinery you're running?
I got a Kubota.
Oh, you got a Kubota?
Yeah.
wow.
I moved a bit of dirt yesterday.
Oh, did you? I think I saw
Absolutely-
that.
Absolutely no reason at all. Just from that pile to that pile and then back again.
But it felt good.
Oh, mate, it's. I won't lie. I
Yeah.
think I love it more than my children.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, shifting dirt?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just sitting there, just pulling levers,
yep.
turning the wheel.
Yeah, just feeling like a man.
There's no one around for kilometres, but I still honk the horn.
Yeah.
So you love getting behind the wheel. So
Yeah.
competitively, it's all over for you now, isn't it? Are you doing?
No.
You still,
No.
You still
Well,
going?
this is why I love tractors so much. You're gonna remember, I'm from a farming family. We've been on the land for 113 years now. That's
Wow.
the same farm. So, mate, I was driving utes at 7. I was doing shifts at night time on the tractor at 12. And, mate, motor racing is the same.
Yep.
Like driving a tractor, ploughing a paddock, you just concentrate on beautiful straight lines
Yep.
and perfect corners.
Yep.
Supercars is exactly the same, just at 300 kilometres an hour.
Sure.
Wow.
And the consequences are a little higher.
Yeah. I mean, you've learnt the hard way a couple of times.
Yeah, hit the odd tree.
How is the body?
It's well, see, this is the biggest concern going into Dancing with the Stars because 16 years between dances. I did it and won it in 2006, right?
Right.
Body doesn't cope well with 16 years difference. Like, to give you an idea what it's like, and it ain't like riding a bike,
Yeah.
I dislocated my shoulder in the 3rd week lifting a tea towel over my head.
No.
Are you serious?
You're as bad as him. He does it diving into a pool.
Dude, yeah, diving into a pool, I pop my shoulder all the time.
Oh, no.
So
It's excruciating.
Is
when
it?
you're dancing as well, because you've got to lift partners and that as well.
Yeah.
So have you had surgery or no? It still pops out here and there.
Probably should have surgery.
I reckon you should.
I was learning a routine for the Paso Doble. You know, that's
My favourite.
That's the passionate one where you've got to have the cape. You're the bullfighter.
Yeah.
So I'm practicing with my grandma's tea towel over my head, and then out it comes.
Does someone run on set and pop it back in? Or
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, I was hoping it was kind of like, you know, what's the movie where he pops it back in? It was
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I thought that
Hit
if
it
I
against
just,
the wall.
yeah, don't do that. It doesn't
Right.
work.
Okay. Okay. Because when you had the monster truck injury,
Yeah.
what was that? What was the injury there that was sustained?
That was I shattered my L1 into 11 pieces.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
so
is back all right now?
back's okay.
Yeah, great.
Still to think he dances on.
Yeah, well, I had to do the biggest post-broken back lift of my life was when I had to get Lily, my dance partner,
Yep.
and I had to literally hold her over my head.
Far out.
In the sky. And
Yeah.
I've never done that before in my life, let alone after a broken back. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it,
Sure,
re-injure
sure.
myself, drop her on her head, kill her. I don't know.
How was she feeling in the lead up to that? Like, yeah, no, throw me in the air. I have no faith in your physical ability to hold me.
She's like, we're good, yeah? We're good. We're good, right? This will be okay, won't it?
I mean, she's not coming from great heights, though, Grant.
Oh, that's you shouldn't have said
It's
that.
not like she's fallen off a horse or anything.
Oh, hang on a minute, mate.
So the most painful thing about the injury was the fact I lost 1.5 centimetres.
Just when they thought he couldn't get any smaller. Leno, you know what he's talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Nova just got a growth officer. Maybe he could help you as well, Grant.
We've employed a guy who's known as the Chief Growth Officer, and
title.
we sent Leno in there, but
I'm hoping to get
hasn't
2 to 3 inches.
What are you coming in at height-wise?
5'3".
Oh,
What are you at, Grant?
Oh, I'm 5'4".
Oh, the battle.
I don't win
knew it.
too many of these. You and I should go into like a nightclub just as one person under a trench coat.
Yes, I would
Don't
love that.
take Fitzy.
Okay, can we please talk about the new podcast?
Yes,
Because
mate.
very, very excited about this because Nova Podcast, we're all over this as well. It's called It's All True. You're doing it with your wife, Shezzy,
Yep.
which is great. So you get to do this from home.
Yeah.
But, mate, this is fascinating
Why?
because over the years, the amount of headlines that
yeah.
you've been involved with. So you dispel all these. Obviously, you took New ID to court. This was a pretty full on.
Yeah.
This was the one where was it your nanny or a good friend of the family that you were seen hanging with, and they said
My
that,
dance partner.
yeah, was he there?
Yeah. A professional who's been employed by a network to teach me to dance.
And what
Yeah.
was the headline on the front page, Grant?
Grant caught out. It was an implication that there was an affair.
Yes.
And that we were sleeping together. And you know, I've been in the media for 20 years now, and I'm kind of used to those front pages.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of mud slung at both my wife and I, but I kind of just thought, well, you know what? I've coated myself in Teflon long enough. I'm sort of used to it. It's the shrapnel is part of the game.
Exactly.
But then when they start sort of, you know, saying things about somebody else who didn't sign up for this and who's
Yeah,
not part
right.
of this industry, and we're like, hang on, you can't just trash a 23-year-old girl's reputation and call her a home wrecker because, you know, she was employed to come to Bathurst and move her life there to teach us to dance, and that's not fair. So we drew a line in the sand and said, no, stuff you.
How much did it affect her? Massively?
She was very scared
Yeah.
because she just didn't know, you know, obviously the paparazzi are waiting outside every dance session. Normally a magazine does it to somebody every single season.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter whether it's true or not, they do it regardless.
Yep.
And but, you know, I'm 44 and I've got 3 kids. She's 23. This is ludicrous. So the fact that they apologised, the fact that we won the battle, you know, is a real rarity because...
Well done, mate.
Good on you.
Well
Thank
done.
you. But the fact that they admitted it was absolutely fabricated and they lied, they just made it up.
The hard thing too, because when a photo is taken in a moment, right, it can look like anything.
Yeah.
So you really, I mean, in the moment, did you have your hand on her leg?
Yeah, I patted her on the leg as we were
Yeah.
sitting down waiting for our soup.
So that can then look like you had your hand on her leg for an hour. You know,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. I mean, there's photos that I've seen of myself where it looks like I'm flirting outrageously with a best mate's wife who's 30 centimetres off from the side.
Absolute pig.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I've jumped too
Are you suggesting the headline?
You love those magazines, Fitzy.
But what they're doing is hunting for that pic and then trying to create a story from the photo that doesn't exist.
All right, so she's got relationship problems. I was coaching her through them. We just had a hug. I tapped her on the leg. I wasn't even looking at her face. I was looking the other way down the street. I said, everything's going to be okay. And that's the photo. And it's not... Look, not everyone buys these magazines, but these magazines still sit at the checkout of the
Yep.
supermarket. You see the front cover as you walk past, and I've still got to go to school and pick up my kids, you know, wondering whether every other mother that is there thinks that I'm the worst human in the world.
Yeah.
So
And
I
not
was
to
like,
mention your wife, who, when she's down the street talking to her friends who are
Exactly.
saying, "Oh wow, trouble at home," and she's thinking, "Actually, no, it's rubbish."
yep.
And you don't know
And
whether
you're all
you then
talking.
you then have to talk to your wife
Yeah.
about it
Do
and just
you?
say, just by the way,
Talk to our kids about it.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know, because they can be ridiculed in the schoolyard as well. So the school had to sort of sit them down and have a word to the kids that not everything you read is true. And,
sure.
You know,
Did Shezzy question it at all?
did she what? Sorry.
Did she question it at all?
She knew it was a load of crap.
Question what?
What?
Or whether there was anything in the photo?
Oh God, no.
No.
Like Lily's a part of our life.
Yes.
Like you know, she lived in our town. She has dinner with us every single night.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Shezzy comes to all the dance rehearsals. So, you know, they're best mates. So
Because
no,
that's
not
the
at all.
knock-on effect of, you know, a seed being planted in someone's mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that can get in the way.
Look, it's hard for a partner to see your husband dancing because it's a very hands-on
Yeah.
thing to do.
Big time.
It's very mechanical. There's no emotion in it, but it's difficult. So I knew, having done this the second time, to bring them close. You know, make Lily part of the family. You know, it was always an open door for Shez.
Yep.
And they get on like a house on
Which
fire.
pub do you take Lily to in Bathurst?
Oh, the George. Yeah.
No, Eddie, the Ox.
Oh, she
Sarah
did
was
journalism there, did you?
Yeah, she did.
She had her toe sucked by someone at the. At
No,
the
he
university.
tried. I said, no, I don't
We
do
should have got
that.
a photo of
It's
that.
weird. Don't bring it up again.
Which is on this month's new idea. It's coming out.
Fitzy can also relate because he was spotted at Bronte one time rollerblading with his top off with a bum bag on.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But if you want me on the podcast, just give me a yell, Grant. It's fascinating. It's all true. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
But you go through the process because this is not an easy thing to do as well. And like you said, when you're at Channel 7, these things you have to forget about them. But now you're saying, no, I'm going to stand up to these guys.
Well, the podcast is the naughty little corner that we can go to say the things that we can't say on television.
Great.
And not only that, look, I've spent my life, trying to come across as a perfect operator, like just a happy, smiley guy who gives away cash and cars on game shows. But that ain't real life. Life's full of trauma and mistakes and things that are embarrassing and hurtful. So we just sort of just dish it all up on that podcast to make it normal. It's okay to struggle.
You're right.
It's okay to be a failure.
Everyone's a human.
Well, love
it,
you,
buddy.
GD. Go check it out. It's all true. The new podcast with Shizzy and also Grant and Denya. It's great to have you back in the studio, buddy.
Love you guys. Thanks
Thanks,
for having me.
mate.
Fitzy and Whipper.